problems. That guy, he just has to touch you once.
Shit's going down.
He's so different than anybody else in the division. Like, he knocks everybody out. Everybody hits hard. They all hit hard.
But
that
shit
fucking
down.
dude hits hard.
That Jake Paul can come 15-20% in regards to Anthony Joshua. He's a completely different specimen. Look, you'll see what it looks like when they stand next to each other.
Joe Rogan recently weighed in on Anthony Joshua's new high-intensity training clips circulating online ahead of the possible matchup with Jake Paul, and his reaction makes the situation crystal clear. After seeing Joshua unload powerful combinations and drill with elite-level trainers, Rogan described the former champion as outright frightening. He suggested that Jake Paul may have finally picked a fight he won't be able to escape with confidence or trash talk. According to Rogan, Joshua appears sharper, quicker, and more dialed in than he has in a long time. And if Jake actually steps into the ring with him, the outcome could be sudden and extremely violent.
Need to get stronger.
The matchup between Jake Paul and Anthony Joshua is set to be a fully regulated heavyweight contest following standard Queensberry rules. The bout is scheduled for 8 3-minute rounds, with both fighters required to use 10-ounce gloves. One notable condition is that Joshua must not exceed a 245-pound win limit, a measure designed to maintain balance between the two. The result of the fight will officially be added to both men's professional boxing records.
Professional bouts. This is going on people's records. AJ gotta take him serious because this isn't some exhibition. We're running out some judges to act like there's a decision and someone won. No, someone's gonna win, someone's gonna lose here. It's 8 rounds, 3-minute rounds. Again, heavyweight pro bout, 10-ounce gloves. AJ talking about breaking internets over faces. I think he meant to say breaking his face on the internet. Who knows? Maybe you can do both in the big 2025. But then you have the weight limit, 245 pounds, and people are automatically going to go, oh, God, here's the thing. Oh, here's the thing in the contract. No, stop all that. And I'm going to go on a rant in a second for all the people that thought this was fake, for all the people that thought that Jake wouldn't do this, for all the people that thought he was scared. I'm going to go on that rant in a second. But, okay, yes, 245 is a weird number because Jake has already fought at heavyweight. He fought Mike Tyson at 220-something. But again, I understand it a little bit. We're on short notice here. You don't want to have a Tyson Fury type situation, which AJ would never be 290 coming in here. But 260, 270, it starts to get out of the realm of possibility of, like, what are we doing here? Even though heavyweight has no limit, I get it.
Nisabed, the CEO of Most Valuable Promotions and one of the main forces behind Jake Paul's career, spoke with Sky Sports about the upcoming December 19th showdown with Anthony Joshua, calling it a major international event. He acknowledged that Joshua brings far more traditional boxing experience, but emphasized that Paul's unwavering, almost unrealistic self-belief could end up being a real game-changer. Badarian described the fight as more than just a matchup. He called it a symbolic collision, noting that the MVP team rushed to lock everything in, pushing negotiations and planning into an unusually tight window. He also verified that strict weight requirements and full professional rules were put in place to guarantee a legitimate, high-stakes contest. According to Badarian, this fight is actually less of a mismatch than Joshua's previous clash with Francis Ngannou. He pointed out that although Ngannou was physically imposing, he was extremely new to pure boxing. Paul, on the other hand, has progressed quickly, developing real technique, composure, and experience in the ring enough, in his view, to make the matchup with Joshua more competitive than many expect.
The weight, will there be a limit for Joshua?
So there's a lot of discussion around the weight. Joshua fought Usyk twice. Both of those times, Usyk was 221 pounds. Joshua was 240 to 245. When Jake fought Mike Tyson last year, 227 pounds. I expect Jake will come in anywhere between 225 and 230, and Anthony Joshua has a weight limit of 245 pounds.
There will be those, as you're aware, that will look at it and criticise this fight. There already have been, haven't there? They'll say it's a real mismatch. What would you say to them? Are we going to be watching sport at its purest?
I would say it's much less of a mismatch than what you saw with AJ and Francis Ngannou, who a massive man, but relatively no boxing experience. I would say it's much less of a mismatch than AJ's 9th or 10th fight against guys who've been knocked out 20 to 25 times. given AJ's pedigree, Jake is built for this. Jake is built for the big moments. So do I think it's dangerous for Jake Paul? Absolutely. Do I think it's also dangerous for Anthony Joshua? 100%.
For many analysts in the fight world believe, Jake Paul is taking an enormous gamble by agreeing to face Anthony Joshua. Former cruiserweight title holder Lawrence Okolie cautioned that Joshua's overwhelming size and punching power could create a genuinely dangerous situation for Paul. Likewise, two-time world champion David Benavidez didn't sugarcoat his opinion, stating that Paul is stepping straight into a high-risk scenario because he is nowhere near Joshua's top-tier experience.
I give 100% respect to Jake Paul, but that's a dangerous fight for him. He probably gets knocked out. And I'm not trying to be a hater. I'm not saying nothing bad, but Anthony Joshua is Anthony Joshua. You know, he's multiple-time champion, Olympic gold medalist. You know what I mean? The last time somebody stepped in the ring with him that didn't have that much boxing experience was Ngannou, and you've seen what happened to him. But big respects to Jake Paul. It's gonna be a good card. You know what I mean? It's a big fight. And it's a good fight, man. I give 100% respect to Jake Paul for even taking that fight.
Carl Froch has taken aim at Anthony Joshua for agreeing to fight Jake Paul, implying that Joshua is essentially cashing out at this stage of his career. Froch believes that after earning massive paydays and achieving world champion status, Joshua appears more focused on financial reward than on building his legacy. With his career already secure and his bank account set for life, Froch argues that Joshua has nothing major left to accomplish in the traditional boxing lane and is now opting for a lucrative, low-risk crossover bout instead.
What else have we got to consider? Is AJ cashing out? Well, I did say a year ago when he got splattered by Daniel Dubois that he's finished now. He won't get that confidence back. He's not had any confidence, you know, in his head. No belief for a long time. And I don't think he can get back to world levels. There's a couple of new young guns now coming up and coming through. It's like a changing of the guard. And when Usyk retires, I don't know what Daniel Dubois is going to do next, but what Daniel Dubois did to him, then he went on and lost to Usyk. But there's a few new heavyweights coming through, Moses Atalma, just to mention one. And you wouldn't start putting AJ in with any of these young up-and-comers that can punch hard, because I just don't think he's got the chance, because the ambition and the desire is going to be gone. So AJ most definitely is cashing out, and you can't fault him. Fair play to him. He's going to get a massive payday, maximise his exit route by fighting fake Paul.
Boxing fans genuinely think Jake Paul has a real chance of defeating Anthony Joshua, and their confidence comes down to one thing: Paul's power. Even though he started as a YouTuber, Paul has proven he can hit hard, scoring knockdowns and knockouts on several opponents throughout his rise. Tyson Fury even went on record saying he believes Paul could stop Joshua, pointing to Jake's increasing size and developing power as a heavyweight. For his part, Paul has repeatedly argued that Joshua's chin is vulnerable, claiming that one precise, well-timed punch could end the fight before it ever gets going.
Do you think he can win, Jake Paul?
I think it's a possibility. No one is backing Jake Paul currently. You've seen him in the ring. You can see that he's got some knockout power. And I also believe people don't look at Joshua's last few fights. And I don't think it's going to be as big of a landslide as people feel. I feel like there's an overhand right that could easily land, and I wouldn't predict that Joshua's chin can last that. The problem is that all of the pressure's on Joshua at the moment. So Jake Paul, if he gets knocked out in 12 seconds, he should get knocked out. The problem is, as soon as Joshua starts taking damage, all of a sudden he's thinking, the world is watching me. I'm a professional fighter and I'm getting beat off a YouTuber. All of the pressure is in Joshua, and that's a lot that can weigh on a man. You can't deny that Jake Paul has power. I think it's one of his only attributes. I think he's a very poor boxer, but what he does have is a weird technique where you don't know what
he's got power. How do we know he's got power?
He's knocked people out. Joshua has all of the world looking at him thinking you should walk him over. If it gets 2 rounds, 3 rounds inside, I think Joshua loses.
A lot of fans are framing this fight as a modern-day David versus Goliath storyline. Jake Paul, who rose to fame through social media and has mostly competed at lighter weights, is now stepping up against Anthony Joshua, a huge battle-tested heavyweight with world title credentials. With Joshua's size, strength, and experience towering over him, he clearly represents the Goliath role. Paul, meanwhile, is embracing the underdog position, relying on his determination, self-belief, and willingness to take risks to try and close the enormous gap between them.
Can't judge Anthony Joshua for getting the bag, as the kids say, for going to wherever the fight's going to take place and taking $92 million for going up against Jake Paul, right? You can't give him for that. You can't judge him for that. But don't try and tell me that this is a real professional boxing contest. I'm saying my guess is that this will be an exhibition matchup. And if it is, it'll be one hell of a show. And I'll certainly tune in. And fair play to both men because they're making an absolute goddamn killing. But what is going on? Jake Paul versus Anthony Joshua. It's a lose-lose for Joshua. It's a win-win for Jake Paul.
The key concern surrounding Anthony Joshua's decision to fight Jake Paul is the fact that Joshua has had limited activity in recent years. Since his split decision defeat to Oleksandr Usyk in 2022, Joshua's schedule has been fairly scattered. He picked up a win over Robert Helenius in August 2023, followed by a victory against Otto Wallin that December, and later scored a knockout over Francis Ngannou in March 2024.
The problem for Anthony Joshua is his activity. He's only fought twice in 2 years, and one of them he got knocked out off Daniel Dubois. That was his last fight, and a lot of people say you can only judge a fighter's quality from their last fight. And then the fight before that was a win, but it was a win against Francis Ngannou. Francis Ngannou, if you know, he was the UFC heavyweight who's not a real boxer, and he only had one fight before that boxing fight, what he lost as well. So that's his activity in boxing. Now Jake Paul, on the other hand, looking at his box record, he's had 6 fights since 2023, and one of them was against Mike Tyson. But we all seen what happened in that fight. Mike Tyson was well past his prime. Where Anthony Joshua, on the other hand, is, well, I'm not going to say he's coming into his prime because he had some great wins earlier on in his career before he lost to Usyk twice. And by the way, when he did lose to Usyk, the last one was a split decision. It was a pretty close fight. So now this fight is matched, and I just want to look at the tail of the tape. Now looking at the age difference, we've got 28 years old compared to 36 years old. So I guess the advantage there goes a little bit towards Jake Paul. 28-year-old is better than a 36-year-old. But that being said, we've got talking about experience and everything else, what comes with being 36 years old at Anthony Joshua's level. And then, like I mentioned, the heavyweights kind of seem to prime a little bit older. They'll come down to the height and the weight. This is the big one. 6'1" versus 6'6". 200 pound versus 252 pound. We got a 252 pounder in Anthony Joshua. The reach advantage is a lot, which we would expect. Amateur fights, we can see that Jake's only had one, where AJ's had 43, but 43 of them are including at the highest level, Olympic level. And yes, he won the Olympic bloody gold medal, if I don't need to remind you. Then the pro record, Jake Paul has had 13 fights, lost 1. AJ has had 28 fights and he's lost 4 with 25 KOs.
David Haye has delivered a stark caution ahead of the Anthony Joshua versus Jake Paul showdown, arguing that the matchup is wildly uneven. In an interview with Sky News, the former heavyweight champion warned that Joshua has the ability to cause severe damage and that Jake Paul's well-being could be in genuine danger. Haye even suggested that if Paul underestimates Joshua's size, strength, or experience, the consequences could be catastrophic. When comparing both fighters on paper, the physical disparity is enormous. Joshua measures 6'6" with an 82-inch reach, while Paul stands roughly 6 feet 1 inch with a 76-inch reach. Joshua normally sits between 240 and 250 pounds, though he's required to come in no heavier than 245 for this bout. Paul, who built most of his career at cruiserweight, has only recently pushed up to around 227 pounds for his heavyweight contests. This difference in height, weight, and reach gives Joshua a substantial advantage in raw power and physical control.
Is a big money fight, £100 million potentially. Are you confident it'll happen?
I wasn't confident when I first heard about it. It sounds like one of those fairy tale fights that people talk about but don't actually get over the line. I heard this 3-4 months ago. I just dismissed it. I heard it a week ago. I went along with it, but deep down I thought this isn't going to happen. And today it's been made official. Jake Paul is going to get in a ring in a boxing match, boxing gloves, to mix it with one of the most dangerous heavyweights on the planet. Someone who is an Olympic gold medalist, won the heavyweight championship twice. Although he lost his last fight against a very good Daniel Dubois, he's a top 10 heavyweight on the planet versus internet sensation, someone who's a latecomer to boxing and has boxed at a very moderate level. I'm talking domestic level, and he lost to Tommy Fury, for instance. And Tommy Fury, who he lost to, versus Anthony Joshua, they're two completely different sports. So I commend Jake Paul for putting himself in harm's way, because boxing is a dangerous game. People have died in the ring. People have been seriously injured, maimed. And he believes in himself enough to do it on a massive scale, because it's not about the money. He's got enough money. This is him wanting to push the boundaries of reality. He's manifested an amazing life for himself. He's a superstar, and I think he wants to try and do the unthinkable. He wants to. It's an insane challenge he's put himself up for, but you've got to give him credit.
You say an insane challenge. You described it before as Jake Paul being a cat versus Anthony Joshua's lion.
Yeah.
I mean, they're not equally matched on any sense, are they?
There's not one element of their boxing skill set that Jake Paul can come 15-20% in regards to Anthony Joshua. He's a completely different specimen. Look, you'll see what it looks like when they stand next to each other.
Anthony Joshua is taking a significant gamble by stepping into the ring with Jake Paul. Many experts suggest that the risk isn't just physical, it could also impact his legacy. Former heavyweight Dave Allen cautioned that even a single clean shot from Paul might tarnish everything Joshua has accomplished. Some see the fight as motivated primarily by money. Promoter Eddie Hearn defended the matchup, stating, "You can't eat legacy." Critics worry that Joshua could trade his hard-earned reputation for a huge payday, and if the fight goes poorly, he might be remembered more for a financial decision than for his accomplishments in the ring.
A lot of boxing fans will think this is a massive stain on his career and a bit of an embarrassment. Now, you two have done it. I'm sure you would both fight Jake Paul tomorrow, wouldn't you?
Yeah, but we're both retired, and we'll be looking at it saying, still an easy fight because he can't box, he's useless, so it's risk-reward, minimum risk, massive reward, so of course we'd fight Jamie.
No, but you say that, it's a big risk, Carl. Big risk.
I'm not having that.
Big risk. If you don't go and annihilate him in the first 30 seconds...
It's fixed.
Can you right, it's fixed. Oh, he's pulling him round?
Yeah.
He's talking about me fighting him, though. So would you think that was fixed if I didn't go and annihilate him? 11 years retired, I think that's the point George makes. He always does a little dig and says,
no, but say you go out there and it's a tough fight for you. You can say, well, what would you expect? I haven't boxed for 11 years. But then it's like, it's hard, isn't it? It's hard. Do you want that?
Nobody thinks any less.
You've got the best ending.
Yeah, I've got
your career.
Definitely. So, nobody thinks any less of Mike Tyson because he lost to Jake Paul.
He was 58 years old.
Yeah, exactly. So
he's in hospital a week before.
I've been retired 11 years, and I'd still go in there, in my opinion, and whoop him. I don't think it'd be hard at all. So he won't fight me. He's pretending he don't know who I am now for a start. So he's still.
How can he not know who you are?
Froch means business. How can he not know?
Many analysts and fans are starting to suggest that Anthony Joshua might be stepping into the ring as the strongest version of himself yet. Even after career setbacks, including his 2 defeats to Alexander Usyk, Joshua has demonstrated remarkable resilience, returning from each fight with renewed strength. In recent months, observers have noticed a shift in his presence. He appears sharper, more focused, and more determined than ever before.
Got what it takes. But then sports is so psychological. Combat is so psychological. And I think the ups and downs of AJ's career have come because of the ups and downs of the psychology, you know? When AJ's on mentally, he's a different guy, man. I mean, I can remember early in his career just being this destroyer and just having this utter mean streak in there, and it would just come out of him when he would fight. You could just see it. He had that it factor, and he was so popular. I mean, and then I remember being at the Ruiz fight at the Garden, and he gets hit with like this grazing shot, never recovers, and he's gone. And this is after I watched him knock out Klitschko at Wembley, getting up off the canvas in front of a crazy crowd. So I'm like, I'm leaving the Garden then, and I'm like, what happened to this guy? What you know?
Anthony Joshua's choice to take on Jake Paul represents a high-stakes gamble, both inside the ring and for his reputation. While the fight could deliver a massive payday, many insiders worry it might damage Joshua's legacy if it doesn't go his way. Critics warn that what should be a celebrated veteran comeback risks turning into more of a spectacle than a serious contest. At the same time, this bout could be the lucrative opportunity Joshua has earned after years of high-profile fights. But at this point in his career, stepping into a risky crossover matchup, one that carries the potential for a shocking upset or significant physical toll, is far from a guaranteed win.
A lot of people have said, well, if he doesn't knock him out the way in which he knocked out Francis Ngannou, he's a sham, this is all rigged. A lot of people said if Jake wins, this is a sham, this is rigged. A lot of people said if he goes the distance with Jake, this is a sham, this is all rigged. Some people are saying even before it was finalized, Gareth on our show, although he folded quite quickly when he was face-to-face with Eddie at the open workouts. I saw that on IFL TV, I do believe, saying that his legacy is already
already in question as a result of taking this fight. Now, I'm surprised that people like Gareth say this. Look, this may not be your cup of tea. You can say, I want to see Anthony Joshua fight other heavyweights. I want to see him fight the likes of, I don't know, Joseph Parker. I want to see him fight Marvin Bakoli. I want to see him fight Caballel. I want to see him fight Zhilei Zhang. I want to see him fight Hrgovic.
What's your take? Is Anthony Joshua making a clever move chasing a huge payday against Jake Paul? Or is he putting his legacy on the line? Share your thoughts in the comments.